YouTube. Yeah. Yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. How's everyone doing today? How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode number 1191. That's right, episode number 1191 of Navigating the Modern World with Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition, live today from Red Morton Park. The sun's already setting. It's day 23 of the GNA Positivity Challenge, and today we're going to be talking about taking the chaos and bringing calm to it. Taking the chaos and bringing calm to it. I'm going to let me let that car pass before I cross. I'm going to wait a few minutes for some people to pop on in. And we're going to get right to it. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of things to talk about today. And while we wait for more people to come in, hey, GLM, how are you doing? Thank you for having me on your show today. God, you had a really long stream. I had to do some other things, and Don kept an eye on your stream. You were on for several hours. Wow. I haven't done one of those marathon streams in ages. Hey, Tia, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. Great to see you here. Don should be popping in soon. You know, before we get into it, I want to start off this show and mention to everyone publicly here that everything that I've always said and done has always come from a good place within my heart and my soul and with good intentions. Like I've said before many times, I'll say it again. Have I overreacted at times? Sure. But what human being hasn't overreacted, especially since what I've been going through lately? And I'm not out here trying to get your sympathy or play the role of the victim, but I have been victimized. And I continue to be victimized. And, many of you know I'm in this circuit civil court case. And I am going to talk about it a little bit more. There's more to talk about, and I have the right to talk about it. Despite some people on some streams saying that I'm ruining my case talking about it. Okay, that's your opinion, and you're entitled to it. And here's the thing. If me trying to protect my reputation that continues to be tarnished and harmed by the defendant and other people that are acting in concert with him, and this has not only doubled since I filed this case, it's quadrupled. It's gotten worse. And I've made filings to the court requesting protective orders and all that. But I also understand that the wheels of justice turn slowly. And I should not have to put up with 4 times the harassment and defamation and all of that in the meantime until the judge is able to hear these motions. I understand how the court system works, and I respect it. I understand the wheels of justice, again, they turn slowly. But I shouldn't have to endure 4 times the harassment and defamation because I filed this suit legitimately on the defendant. And not only has he been amping it up, but also other people that are actively working in concert with him. That's not fair to me. And if people here on this platform are going to go into other people's live streams or comment sections and say that I'm ruining my case because I'm trying to protect my reputation that continues to be harmed 4 times greater than before I filed this case, I don't know what to tell you. What would you do? Because here's the thing. I cannot function on this platform if I just let these people continue to tarnish my name and use YouTube algorithm to boost out this message that's hitting you people that would normally be following me. This is why I can't sit back and just let the court speak for itself. Yes, the court will speak for itself, and I respect the court. But by the time the court gets to it, and I understand it's going to take time, I respectfully understand that. That's the way the system works, and I respect the judge. I respect the judicial assistant. I respect everyone in the system. By the time the court gets to this, if I didn't stand up for myself and correct the record whenever I feel like it needs corrected, which has been daily lately, then you know what? I would be ruined out here. I'm not going to let anyone ruin me out here simply because I filed a case to try to stop what these people have been doing to ruin me. I'm not going to sit back and not stand up for myself in a respectful, mature, and professional way. I'm just not going to do that. And honestly, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. If you were in my position, you could handle this any way you want to handle it. There's really no other way to handle it, in my opinion. Because I'm not going to sit here. And again, I respect that the wheels of justice turn slowly. I understand the system and the process, and I respect it. But I can't sit here and just let all this stuff continue. That's going to affect me massively if I don't address it and correct the record. If that happens to be daily, if these people amp it up at that level to where algorithmically YouTube promotes their stuff over mine and affects me from growing because of what they're doing, I have to tackle it head on. And I'll explain that to the judge. That's the truth of the matter. So yeah, you're entitled to your opinions, and I respect your opinions. I also understand why you're saying that, right? But let me tell you something. I have the right to talk about my case whenever I want, as long as I do it respectfully, as long as I'm not harming the other party or other party and other people that they're actively in concert with, working together with. I'm not doing that. I'm setting the record straight, and I have the right to do that. And please correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. Am I out of line here? Am I out of line here? How would you handle this if you were me? Would you just allow this group of people to slander you at 4 times the level they were doing it before the defendant was sued? This has gotten worse. This has gotten 4 times worse than before I sued him. You know why? Because they're using this for content. And they're spinning the narrative, and they're feeding ChatGPT a bunch of garbage so that way they have a false narrative to feed their audience. That's the truth of the matter. Okay? And I got to tell you this. A lot of the people, I'm not saying this about you, OD, and I heard your stream earlier. I was getting ready, good stream. You use ChatGPT properly, but most people don't. But here's the thing. What's come out of this now? What's come out of this? Are we now going to do live streams to analyze other people's live streams and then create drama content off of it? That's really pathetic. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you don't think that's pathetic, I don't know what to tell you, but that is pathetic. After this many years and he still hasn't stopped, I feel you are doing nothing wrong. Well, what would you do in my shoes, Tia? Would you protect your name? Would you wait 6 months after filing a case to get the first hearing to even remotely try to get any of this stopped? Right? Like, I filed this case in early September. Our first hearing is going to be in February regarding his spoliation of evidence motion and adverse inference, which I've already offered him the evidence. I have it. I offered it to him. He denied it. He said, let the court handle it, and they schedule a hearing on that, right? And that's all I'm going to tell Judge Stacy when we go to court that day. I mean, I already offered him the evidence. I told him I would host it throughout the entire court case with downloadable and streamable links on my site. I had to put the videos to private because my channel got a community guideline violation from false flagging. I feel it was coming from their group, and I wanted to protect my channel. But I have the same exact videos, and I'm willing to give them to the. I was willing to give them to the defendant. I offered it to him. He denied it. It's on the court record, Your Honor. I emailed him. He denied it, and then I filed a notice of service through the court record. Yes, you did, Mr. Melas. Should probably end up saying, well, what do you have to say about this, defendant, right? You see, none of this makes any logical sense because he knows he's playing the system for content. And the judge is going to see that. And I don't care if they chat GPT me and quote me on this. I don't care. I'm going to stand up for myself because I have the right to, right? The judge is going to see this. You were offered the evidence. You turned it down because you're a YouTube performer and you wanted to spin it. If you accepted the evidence, then what you presented to your audience as spoliation of evidence, you couldn't argue that anymore. You couldn't lead them to believe that anymore. And then you would have to admit that, oh, yeah, I caved, right? It's okay. You don't want to cave to your audience. That's okay. But the judge will see right through that. So we have that hearing on February 3rd, right? I filed the case on, September 3rd, October, November, December, January, February. The first hearing we're going to have is 5 months after the case was filed. So is it, let me ask you folks out there that are saying, I'm ruining my case by trying to stand up for my reputation. Okay? Let me ask you folks, if you filed a similar case and you're in the same situation and you had to wait 5 months for your first hearing because the defendant filed a motion to dismiss anti-SLAPP, right? But during that time, the defendant and people that he works with have amped up the harassment and defamation times 4. Would you just sit there and let them destroy your reputation on YouTube, or would you stand up for yourself as well and correct the record publicly and share with people that, hey, I'm still here. I'm cool, calm, collected. Yes, I speak with passion. There's a difference. I'm speaking calmly. I'm not attacking anyone. I'm stating the facts, and things I'm unsure of, I state as opinions. Right? You tell me how you would handle it. You see, you people like to talk about things out here that you've never experienced, right? If you haven't experienced something, then it would probably be better to not share your opinion, because unless you've gone through it, and I've been through this, I've been down this road before. Go ahead. I've been down this legal road with these same people before, so I understand how things work. Okay? And just so you all know, the stalking case, I was talking about that. I was talking about that regularly, and I was the respondent. How did that affect my case? No, because the YouTube theatrics don't matter. The YouTube theatrics don't matter. What matters is there defamation or not? Is there intentional infliction of emotional distress or not? Is there abuse of process or is there not? Is there malicious prosecution or is there not? That's all that matters. The YouTube theatrics, the judge doesn't care about. Now, unless you're breaking the law and doing dumb things, which I'm not, right? All I'm doing is standing up for myself and correcting the record. Now, you folks tell me in the chat, am I wrong about that? No, I would talk because they are twisting things and lying, in my opinion. Oh, they are 100% lying and twisting things. Tia, that's a fact. They are 100% lying and 100% twisting for audience theatrics and audience preservation and self-preservation, right? And donations, defamation for dollars, donations, right? It's the defamation for dollars campaign, right? Now, it's obvious to me that someone is triggered for botting us here. This is not the typical botting. This is the botting that somebody paid for this, because it's over 200. It's okay. I don't care that you're botting me. It more so shows to me that you're performing on YouTube, and me correcting the record with the truth is not what you want to hear, because it affects the story that you have led your audiences to believe, right? Hey, Gordo, how you doing? Oh, Deanne, how are you doing? I saw you here. Are you still around? Let me know. There's a lot of stuff to talk about today. And I'm going to talk about it in a cool, calm, and collected way, but I'm going to share my thoughts. And then I'm also going to share about what I think could possibly happen. I said could possibly happen because no one knows until it happens, right? But I know these people's patterns. I know how they behave. I know what they do when they feel like they're boxed in. And here's the thing, my filing that'll hit the docket tomorrow, probably tomorrow or Tuesday, but probably tomorrow morning. My filing will hit the docket. It's a 41-page filing showing proof of acting in concert between the defendant and the other woman. And I'll get to her in a second, too, because I need to correct the record on that to preserve my reputation that I have a right to preserve, right? And lots of screenshots there in high quality with them talking about the judge, with them being on panel together. The full videos there, self-hosted on my own server for the judge or anyone to download or to stream, right? Must have touched a nerve, because you know what touches a nerve, in my opinion, and I can share this. This is not going to affect my case. It's just the truth. What touches a nerve is the truth. And that's why you go to court. You go to court because when people are harming you and they're spinning the truth to continue to harm you for their own benefit, the court sees right through that. Oh, I forgot to unblock you, dude. She even told me about that today again. I'm sorry, Gordo. Gordo, I'm sorry, man. I even unblocked some other people. I forgot to do you. I'll take care of it, dude. Sorry about that. Anyway. Oh, hang on a second. I'll be right back. All right, we are back live. We should be back live. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me right now. Put a 1 in the chat, please. Yeah, I know, man. I'm sorry. That's my fault. I'm sorry. It keeps slipping. Tia with the $50 super chat. Honesty speaks volumes. Keep doing what you're doing. Tia, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. I'm going to like that and heart that. Tia, thank you so much. I know you just spent a lot of money on your roof and all that. And I never expect anything from you or anyone, but especially now. God bless you. God bless you. What the hell? You are an amazing person. You're welcome. She is amazing, babe, but she's not amazing because she donates money to us. She's amazing because she's a good person with a good heart. And I know that's what you meant, but I understand. When people spend their hard-earned money, it really, truly shows how invested they are in you. And I get that. But thank you, Tia. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the $50 super chat. That means a lot. That really means a lot. God bless you and your husband, Ray, and all that. Love you. Love you like a sister. And don't take that love out of context, because that's what these people do. The people we care about, Don and I, we always tell them that we love them. Right, Don? We love Tia like a sister. We love Sandra like a sister, like family. Yeah, you want to spin that out of context, all good. Every little thing that they can perceive meaning otherwise, they spin because they have nothing better to do. That's just how pathetic it is. But anyway, so let's talk about, you know, what's happened over the weekend. Okay, it's been chaos, but it's been primarily chaos, not by the defendant, but by the woman he's acting in concert with. She's done a bunch of streams repetitively, and he's been off the radar because he was working on a filing. He's made 2 filings over the weekend. They will probably hit the docket by tomorrow or Tuesday. He filed an exhibit accusing me of retaliation, which is the biggest joke I've ever heard. Retaliation. Because he took some clips I said in the stream that if you never connected with that woman, this probably would have never happened. He took it out of context, and the judge will know that because, again, what I meant by that is, had you never associated with her, you might not have done what you did that got you sued. Regardless, if you do it, whether you're influenced or not, listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. Regardless of whether you're influenced or not, if you do what you did, if you did what you did, you would have been sued. That's the bottom line. In my opinion, do I think she had a lot of influence on you filing that stalking case? It's ironic how a few months before, a woman that has a name that starts with the letter P filed a similar case, and then the woman that you're acting in concert with shared on her community wall one day before I got served. She got a copy of the P woman's filing and said, "Here you go, Eli. Sheriff be around to serve you soon." So this is all coordinated, right? And that's exactly what I did when I made that recent filing, acting in concert. I put it all together for the judge in a nice, tight little packet with a nice bow around it. That's all I did. Right? We got some people coming, and I'm going to wait. Okay. Thank you again for your $50 super chat, Tia. God bless. So, you took that out of context, and you filed an exhibit on it. You can file whatever you want. I don't see how that's going to make a difference. I mean, you file things that are just basic things. You file basic opinions, and you spin them into whatever narrative you want to believe it means, whether you actually feel that way or not, right? And all I have to say is this, and this is my opinion. I have the right to say this. I mean, do you not think a judge is going to see clearly when people spin things out of context, right? So you file whatever you want. You know, I'm just like, wow, that's just a filing that was, in my opinion, it was done, you know, as an emotional reaction. I treated myself to a new cell, bought a Samsung S24 Ultra. That's a good phone. Respect for the donation, Tia, says ODN. Thank you, ODN, says Tia. All right. So that filing, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to worry about it. It is what it is. You have the right to file whatever you want. You filed it. You're saying that I'm retaliating against you by saying that? Like, how is that retaliation? Saying that if you never joined forces with that lady, in my opinion, we probably wouldn't be here. We probably wouldn't be here. I'm not saying we definitely wouldn't be here. It all depends on how you would have responded. I mean, I don't know how you're going to try to get a judge to spin that differently. You see, it seems like this group of people, especially the defendant, they try to spin every single one of my reasonable statements into something that creates drama and creates exhibits, right? File whatever you want, no big deal. Let's move on from that. That one, God, wow. Whatever. Then, let's see. Then what else? There was, then he filed a motion to strike ODN's witness. It wasn't even a witness statement, it was an affidavit. So ODN's affidavit is a sworn legal affidavit, right? He filed a 15-page submission, and it's just him upset at the fact that ODN filed an affidavit, right? And I filed it the proper way. I submitted it, right? ODN's affidavit is very detailed. It'll be available either tomorrow or the next day, publicly available on the docket for anyone to see. Because when I served this to the defendant, when I served these documents to the defendant on Friday, he spun it way out of context on his stream using ChatGPT and basically, telling ChatGPT things in a way that would output something closer to the narrative of what he wants to present to his audience. If you agree with that, put a 1 in the chat. That's all he did. And that's all that other woman has been doing lately that he's in concert with, right? So, if I had to guess, they conglomerated over the weekend, and he was saying, okay, I just got hit with these 2 filings by Eli. So now I need to respond to this. I have 2 filings to do. One's going to be quick. The other one's going to take some time. So the floor is all yours to the other person that he acts closely in concert with. It's that woman that lives in the same state of Florida as he does, right? Now, she went off all weekend doing 3+ hour streams on me, intentionally amplifying and redistributing the defamatory "I believe you embezzled" parody video. In most of her videos, she leads in with it and then exits with it. That's 2 more instances in those videos, right? And that's not de-escalating when you send the defendant a notice of correction and preservation, telling him that this is defamatory. Please stop, retransmitting this. Please stop amplifying this. And then they disregard that. And then other people in his network help him amplify that. That speaks mountains to me. Now, to the people that are saying I shouldn't be talking about this is affecting me algorithmically because, like I said yesterday, I went to go watch this woman's stream. And I was screen recording it. And you want to know, while she was playing the "I believe you embezzled" video at the beginning, YouTube recommended the original video the defendant created right below that. I have a screenshot of that will be used as evidence. Right? So, if you're thinking that the best thing for me to do is just ignore all of this and not respond to it professionally and correct the record, you're absolutely wrong, because on YouTube that will destroy you. On YouTube, they're going to continue to amplify that defamatory video. And if people come across it, then they come across me, or they come across me live, I may be able to have a chance of sharing the truth with them until we get our court dates, which are going to be months down the road, and the court hopefully corrects it, or corrects it at some point. Does that make sense? You folks tell me if that makes sense or not, whether you're here live or on the replay. So, now, that woman did 2 streams yesterday. I talked about that yesterday. Not a big deal. Yesterday, she also mentioned that she's got this secret unlisted live stream that was going to be happening today, right? Okay. Now, this morning, before that secret unlisted stream, she did a short stream. I think it was a little bit under an hour long. I believe she played the embezzlement video, and then she showed some things on the screen, and I'm going to share my thoughts about that. Okay. And before I share my thoughts about that, I'm going to skip ahead to the posting that she made after her secret unlisted live stream. By the way, please preserve the evidence. Please preserve the evidence, because that may be requested as production at some point. I'll leave it at that. There was a posting made right after that secret unlisted live stream, and lots of the usual sock accounts and suspects trying to amplify things, trying to, amp things up and trying to scare me and make it feel like it's the end of the world and stuff like that. And it's not the end of the world. For the record, and to share what I think is going to happen, because here's the thing about these people that are running these drama groups. They base their content on reactions from me. Right now, I'm doing a professional video reaction, and I am correcting the record. I'm not overreacting, and I'm not getting triggered. They want a triggered reaction. They're not going to get that. I'm not triggered. I'm correcting the record. Okay? They want to spin it out of context because they want to keep it going on their end. That's on them. We will continue correcting it, and eventually we'll hit our court dates, and hopefully the court will permanently correct their behavior and their issues, right? But yeah, so, I pretty much figured out, what may possibly be coming soon, okay? And I'm going to put on my thoughts here, because if it does happen, at least then we can always refer back to this video, and people will know that I can read things pretty well, right? So the first thing, the possibility is the January 9th hearing. I don't know if the defendant or that woman that did this secret enlisted stream, the defendant was probably there, in my opinion, right? I don't know if they're thinking about trying to file something with the court regarding that, or trying to email the GNA. Let me clear something up regarding that court date so you folks realize this once and for all. January 9th is off the table. If you go to the original email, the GNA even said, if that time doesn't work, the rescheduling, because it was a court-initiated change, then let me know, and I'll give you new dates. Both the defendant and the woman acting in concert with him, in my opinion, until the judge decides. I'm just going to state it as my opinion, but it's the truth. It is. Okay. They both know that January 9th is not going to happen, but they want to keep playing it off as long as they can, because once they have to admit the actual procedure, right, it's going to be very devastating to their audience, right? Right? So the bottom line is the judicial assistant responded, and even when I reached out to the defendant, I'll repeat this like I did the other day. Even when I reached out to the defendant and told him that here are the 3 dates the GAA offered, I cannot make that day and time, or not that day, but that time. I was available for the afternoon hearing, not the morning one. Okay? And he said, I don't agree to a continuance. It's not a continuance. So, hold on a second here. Anyway, so as far as continuance goes, it's not a continuance. What did ODN say? Yeah, that's true. He doesn't understand what's a continuance and what's a court initiated change, ODN. That's what it boils down to, right? And, if you folks are thinking that, you're going to email the JA and try to tell her otherwise, that's on you. Give me a second here. Now, what's the other thing? Let's talk about what that lady showed on her screen. She showed her filing a notice, or her potentially filing a notice with the court regarding her non-party status in this case. Okay. She can't do that because she's not a party to the case. Now, she can have the defendant file that, but even if the defendant files that, I mean, it's about non-party status, that she is claiming that she has non-party status, but she wants to talk about things in the case and file motions and hearings and set up hearings and all that. And the only way she can do that is by filing a motion to intervene. A motion to intervene. She needs to request leave of court to file a motion to intervene. And then Judge Stacy may approve her in a limited role. That could happen. If it does happen, then she becomes a party to the case, a limited party to the case, or however Judge Stacy decides to rule on that. But that also opens her up to discovery. That also opens her up to possible sanctions. It opens her up to protective orders and all that. She doesn't want that. She absolutely doesn't want that. So, yeah, if she's going to file that, she can file that, whatever, right? Now, here's what I think the really big deal is. Here's what I think the big deal is. All right, give me a second here. All right. Now, here's the third thing. I'm sorry. I had to take care of something. And I heard that woman discussing a potential lawsuit that she wants to file on me. Okay. Let me first start off by saying that anyone can sue anyone at any time for any reason. Doesn't mean the case is going to be valid. Doesn't mean that they're going to win. That's just the way the system works, right? And then I heard her say that she's going to try to use the same thing she's trying to use on GLM, Florida's long arm statute, claiming that I'm harming her in her own state. I'm not harming her in any way, let alone her own state. So there's nothing there regarding that, right? She can spin that to the audience all she wants. That's simply not true, right? Now, if she does file this lawsuit, she has the right to do that. She can sue anyone for anything at any time, right? If she does file it, then I'll come out here and say I will gladly accept service. And when you do file the case, I'm going to do you a favor. You're going to have to initiate this because you would have to initiate it. I am willing to accept service by you sending me a waiver of service, and I will sign that and accept service without you having to hire a process server. And I think you know exactly why I want to do that, because you're going to hire Twiggy again, in my opinion, for more YouTube content. So I'll tell you this. If you want to file another lawsuit on me, you have the right to do that. I'm telling you right now publicly in a video, right? I'm telling you publicly in a video, I will gladly accept service. Oh, I can defend myself. I don't need Legal Shield for this. Anyway, so yeah, you can file the papers, and then instead of paying a process server like ABC Legal or paying Twiggy to do it and then getting body cam footage that you can play on a stream of me getting served, I'll make it simple for you. Send me a waiver of service, and I'll sign that. I'll be automatically served. Now, you don't have to do that, but now I'm stating for the record that I'm willing to accept service without you having to pay a process server. If you now end up using Twiggy, then we're going to all know your intentions, right? And if that happens, so be it. If Twiggy serves me again and you put the video out there again, I mean, I think you know how that's going to go, right? So, anyway, once I get served in that case, if that case happens, and if I get served one way or another, I will immediately file a motion to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction, because California is my jurisdiction. If she wants to file this case, she needs to file it here in San Mateo County, where I live, in California. That's the proper way to do it. That's the way she's done it in the past. Anything else, there's no jurisdiction. There's no long arm statute. I haven't harmed this woman. If anything, I've got a mountain of evidence of how she's harmed me and helped the defendant in concert harm me. That's all. Anyway. I've pretty much said what I have to say. I mean, there's not a whole lot more to say. I like to sum things up and not overstate things. Whatever will be, will be. But like I said at the beginning of the show, first of all, I can understand hold on a second here. All right, sorry about that. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. Thank you, Tia. Thank you, ODN. Again, I understand. I understand why people are saying to not talk about this. And like I said earlier, it's not that I want to talk about it every day. I don't. But at the same time, again, I can't sit here and allow these people to ruin my name and weaponize YouTube's algorithm to do it, which further expands the false statements as fact. It's absolutely not fair to me, and not addressing it or just staying quiet altogether would only make the matters worse. And I'll say this. In court, anything can be brought up. They can bring up anything in court as long as it's relevant to the case. They can bring anything up in court as long as it's relevant to the case, right? And same with me, as long as it's relevant to the case, right? They may try to bring this up. They may try to bring up and say, hey, how can a guy be emotionally distressed if he's talking about the case every day, if not almost every day? I am emotionally distressed. I'm just containing myself. I'm exhausted. I'm overwhelmed. This has been very overbearing. Yeah, maybe so, Deanne. Maybe so. It's been it's been a heck of a ride. It's been extremely emotionally taxing and emotionally draining. And I've tried my very best to contain my emotions, try to ignore it as much as possible, and I am actually internally ignoring it to not affect my emotions and overreact. But on the surface, it obviously does affect me. I have to agree, ODN, says Tia. On the surface, it does affect me. And anyone in my same exact position telling you otherwise would be lying to you. I never asked for this. I never deserved this. This is absolutely not fair. And a lot of this has to do with some pretty skewed laws, in my opinion, here in the U.S. regarding the balance of freedom of speech and defamation of character. Like I've said before, there's too much of a line. Hey, ball tires in the rain. Yeah, ball tires in the rain says when you talk about it, you state the facts, but when they talk about it, they continuously defame. I appreciate your thoughts on that, or your thought on that. Hi, ball tire, says Tia. You know, a lot of this also has to do with Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, where YouTube is shielded from lawsuits. You can't sue YouTube. So YouTube and these other platforms have great flexibility to allow this type of behavior to go on. And they do have their guidelines, but they very rarely enforce them, because the truth of the matter is that the outrage makes them the most money. And if you have a serious issue, then you have to go to court and deal with it there. But again, like I said, the wheels of justice turn slowly. The wheels of justice turn slowly. And once you file one of these cases, you would figure that these people would de-escalate. Instead, they amp it up times 4 or more. Does that make sense, ODN, Don, Tia, ball tires in the rain, anyone else that's here, GLM? Yeah, I don't know whether that's true or not, ODN. I mean, that's your opinion. I don't know. And I mean, if that's if people in that situation want to pull their hair, that's on them. You know. You know, I'm just coming out here and saying, let's see, ODN says no. He admitted it. Okay. Well, I'd have to see that video, and it's to be honest with you, it's pretty much irrelevant to the situation, but I get it. Ball tires in the rain. You win simply by standing up for yourself. Yes, they always amplify. Yeah, yeah. And you know what really makes me sad, ball tires in the rain and everyone else, ODN, Don, Tia, GLM, is the fact that there are even some people on that side that know I'm being harmed, and if they were in my situation, there's no way they would let this go. They would have handled it a long time ago. But for some reason, because it's me, I should just have to stand in front of these people every day and allow them to keep shooting bullets at me. Right? I mean, I just, I don't understand how this would be okay in anyone's eyes. Right? I just don't understand that. This is not okay. It's obsessive compulsive disorder. He can't stop himself. Well, that could be part of it. I think all it boils down to is audience preservation and donations. I mean, it's as simple as that, man. It's as simple as that. Yeah, well, maybe it makes them feel a high or something. I don't know, Deanne. Maybe it does to do this to people, but and then they spin it and say people are doing it to them. Right? Give me a second, I'll be right back. All right, we are back live. We are back live. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me clearly and see me clearly. Give me one more second. I'll be right back. Sorry. All right, we are back live. We are back live. Sorry about that. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Put a one in the chat, please. Sorry about that. Thank you, ODN, and thank you, Tia. I'm sure Don is still around, and Ball Tires in the Rain, and all of them. GLM. Yes, the give me a second here. Yeah, the woman made a posting. And yes, ma'am, you are right. You are a non-party to the case. You also are right that I would need Judge Stacy's approval to subpoena or to compel you to produce anything like that. So you're right about that. What's the point? You don't think I already know that, or did you just need another community post? I mean, that's pretty obvious. And see, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I will come out and say to you here publicly on this show, and this is me being very honest, I don't wish harm upon any of you people. And whether you folks say you don't wish harm upon me, the things that you do to me are harmful. They are. You know it. So if you wouldn't want that done to you, why do you do it to others? Do you think you have the rights to harass and defame people, to feed your audience what they want, so that way they can give you donations and pat you on the back? Have you ever asked yourself, if you were on the receiving end of what you're putting out, how would you feel about it and what would you do? I don't think you would like it. I don't think anyone would like it. But you're not on the receiving end. So does that make it okay? I'm a very reasonable person, and I love people and I care about people. I'm not bothered by. I'm. I wouldn't say I'm not bothered. I'm not letting it affect me. What you're doing. What you're doing, I'm not allowing it to affect me. But does it affect me in certain ways? Yes, it affects me algorithmically on YouTube. It affects me reputation wise on YouTube. And having to constantly correct the record and focus on correcting the lies and slander that you folks spin out here has become extremely draining. If I don't do it, my existence on this platform will not exist. And I'm not going to let anyone remove my existence, especially over made up things that are being used just to entertain an audience. It's one thing to entertain people and every now and then do a stream on someone and be truthful about it. It's another thing to make someone the target of your content and harassment and defamation. What kind of person enjoys making money off of harassing others? They are into deviant stuff, dude. I mean, just listen to what the guy said about. Okay, listen to what she does and says. That probably look weird stuff up on the internet all day long. You know, ODN, maybe, maybe not. You know, I mean, honestly, ODN, I respect all of your opinions. In my opinion, I don't really care about what people look up on the internet all day, every day. I care about what they publicly do to harm other people, including myself. That's all I care about. If people want to do weird stuff in the privacy of their own home, that's on them. I really don't want to waste my time on that nonsense, right? You know it's nonsense, and so do I. But I get why you put it out there, and I respect your comment. Okay. You know that. It's a nice night. ODN says, people like that never see any action in real life. They just sit behind the computer screen and live a fantasy. I would have to agree with you on that. In general, ODN, I would have to agree with you on that. And, you know, that it might be what's happening here. It could be, right? But ultimately, we don't know what's going on in those people's heads. We don't. And some of them, in my opinion, probably don't even realize what's going on in their own head. And that's what causes a lot of these problems, because I think most reasonable, decent people wouldn't have done or continue to do to me what these people are doing. Right? That makes sense, though. Yeah, yeah, no, it makes absolutely perfect sense. It does. It does. In life, you only get back what you put out, right? When you try to legitimately harm other people, I mean, that's not a good thing to put out into the universe. It's not a good thing to put out to the universe. ODN, you have one of the most adventurous lives of anyone I know. You get back exactly what you put out, says ODN. He's right. Right. Respectfully, maturely, and professionally, Don says, let today remind you that no matter how hard life gets, there's always something to be thankful for. Enjoy your night. ODN says, I wouldn't worry about it, bro. Those people are going to get karma someday. Thus, and believe. Good advice, Don, says ODN. Give me a second. I'll be right back, and then I'll wrap it up. All right. All right, we are back live. We are back live. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me and see me clearly. Put a one in the chat. Thank you, ODN. It's a really nice night tonight. It's a little chilly, but the air is really, really fresh, and the sky is really, really clear. Please hit the thumbs up. It's greatly appreciated. Tia, thank you so much for the $50 super chat again. Thank you so much to you and your late husband, Ray. And Don and I have lots of love for you. Yeah. You want to know what's funny, ODN? Can I tell you what's funny? You want to know what's really funny right now? If people can wait around another 5 to 7 minutes, I'll explain this. Thank you, Tia. Again, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you again. You want to know what's funny? Put a one in the chat, or just let me know if you want to know what's funny. Another 5 to 7 minutes. I'm not going to keep talking unless somebody says something. I really enjoy all your streams, Eli. Well, thank you, Ball Tires in the Rain. I appreciate that. TS says one. ODS says what? I'll tell you what's really funny. I'm actually just really tired of having to call out the same thing over and over again. The whole thing, besides the fact of me correcting lies about me and, correcting defamatory statements on me and stuff like that as they happen, like, I'm really just tired of the same old thing. And I'm not trying to make it about the same old thing, but a lot of people are. I'm not saying you specifically, ODN. I'm saying in general. We all know how these people are. We all know what they're doing. We all know why they're doing it. They're doing it defamation for dollars. They're doing it for audience preservation. They're doing it because when they wake up every morning, YouTube is their social life. YouTube is their everything, right? We already know that. We don't have to continue to rehash the same things over and over and over and over again. The new stuff, that's a different story, and that's what I want to focus on to correct the record and spare my reputation from any more harm than it's already had. And again, I've always been a fair person. I am not perfect. I have made mistakes. I've said some things that I didn't mean, but who hasn't? And the people that are accusing me of having said some nasty things or done nasty things in the past, all I did was overreact because I didn't understand the defamation for dollars game back then. I didn't understand that people were trying to intentionally trigger me for content they can present to their audience and then get donations for that. I didn't get that. When I figured that out, I changed everything, right? Yeah, ODN, listen, I get where you're coming from, and you've been messed with pretty well as well. You've been messed with pretty well as well. What I don't understand is how can these people wake up every day and look forward to performing in this way, right? It's a big performance, and it's really sad. It's just really, really sad, right? ODN, I think you asked filing malicious prosecution on another party. I can't do that, ODN, because, well, no, I can't do that because the first case with her I settled. The second case, she failed to appear. So basically, it was like nothing ever happened. You basically have to go to court, and the judgment has to be in your favor as the defendant. So, there's no malicious prosecution there, dude. Listen, As much as some people have wronged me and harmed me, in my opinion, right? I understand the law, and I'm not here to. I don't want to go after anyone for something they haven't done. I think you understand. It's like all I want people to do. All I've ever wanted people to do is just stop, and it got to the point of where it was never going to stop. This was the only avenue. Oh, Deanne, no, I mean, if she files on you for that other guy, telling her she should have filed on you again. Well, if she does file on me again, it's not going to, I mean, it would have to be here in San Mateo County. And if she files in Florida, she has no jurisdiction. They have no jurisdiction over me. And she's trying to sell to her audience that the long arm statute applies because she's trying to claim that not only myself, but GLM harmed her in the state of Florida. All GLM did was file a report on her regarding her business licenses, one of her businesses, right? And that's well within GLM's rights to do so. GLM has not harmed her in any way, shape, or form, let alone in the state of Florida, where GLM and I are both over 2,000 miles away from there, right? But even in that case, I believe it would get dismissed without prejudice for improper venue, right? That's something that I believe I couldn't file malicious prosecution on because that case would have never gone to trial. I believe you have to go to trial and you have to win. And also, you have to be able to prove that the case was initiated with malice intent. Now, I can easily prove that on the defendant in my case regarding the previous stalking case, but it typically is pretty hard to prove. But I hope that makes sense, man. Just rest easy knowing that you get to go home to a beautiful woman. Well, I don't need to read that, man. I mean, that's your opinion. You know, I'm not trying to insult anyone. I mean, you know, I've said my fair share of insults. I'm tired, man. I'm exhausted. This has just gotten way the hell out of hand. And I'm not saying I'm out of hand. I am definitely not out of hand. But it's just gotten way out of hand. Right? And if you want me to be honest with you, I even firmly believe that the defendant feels it's gotten way out of hand. That's what I honestly feel. I'm going to wrap this up real soon. Well, I mean, they've insulted me for years. They're not being sued for insults, they're being sued for defamation. All right, everyone, I got to go. We're at, what is that, 80 minutes? 80 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes, almost an hour and 21 minutes. Got a lot of love for all of you. You're all amazing. Let's hope for better days ahead. Thanksgiving is coming this week. Dawn and I are going to spend it with her family this year. And by the way, before we go, Dawn and I just finished recording episode number 36 of the Dawn and Eli Take on the World podcast. It's going to be a special, shorter Thanksgiving episode. I believe it's like right around an hour and 15, an hour and 14, hour and 15 minutes. It was a pretty short show compared to our 2+ hour shows. But we wanted to do it a little shorter because it's going to be a busy week. We just want to give you something to smile at while you're listening and getting ready for one of the most special holidays of the year. Thanksgiving is a very important day for family. Odian says good night, y'all. Good night, Odian. Good night, Broski. Good night, everyone, says Tia. Lots of love. Have a good one. Take care. And as always, 82 minutes, an hour and 22 minutes. Be good to each other. Thank you again, Tia, for the $50 super chat. You and Ray, have a good one. Take care. And as always, be good to each other. See you all tomorrow. Good night, everyone.